Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited. This might be the first time I've had a guest on twice already. I didn't think about that until right this second, but also the second time we've had somebody from way overseas, way across the globe. Welcome, Georgia, to the podcast. I'm so glad to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I'm from Australia, everyone.
If you
So
can't tell.
yeah, literally opposite. It's boiling here.
I know. I was just telling her how she looks so gorgeous with her tan skin, and like I'm over here, like it's definitely winter where I am. But I'm so excited to have you on today. Last year, I actually did a transit reading with Georgia at the beginning of the year in January, and it was very eye-opening, very friggin' accurate after the year happened. And
Yeah.
yeah, just so cool. So the reason I bring her back today is I want her to like update you on like some of the stuff because you've got some new readings too. But the big things I want to talk about too is like all the transits happening this year. I was like, who better to talk about those than you? So yay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you feel like 2025 was good, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, so much happened this year, it's because there was a lot happening astrologically. Like, there's a reason we were all feeling exhausted and like on the precipice of something big. It's because this big stuff was happening. And 2026 is kind of like the wrapping up of it. Like we're settled into this new next chapter now in this year,
Mhm.
which is exciting, but like just take that as validation if you're like, what is wrong with me? Everyone's feeling.
It's not just you, honey. It's okay. It's all of us. But
Yeah.
um it will definitely like the area of your life it affects. You can see that in your chart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And like some astrologers love to talk about what's happening, how it's gonna like collectively shape, like what new music's gonna come out, like, oh, we're gonna have a World War III. And like that's kind of cool, but to me, I'm more interested in like how it's gonna affect you personally. Like actually look up where in your chart it's hitting, if it's lining up something like your health, your career, your relationships, and that's where you'll see the most change. And to me, that's like way more important than trying to predict, are we going to have freaking World War III or not? Like,
Yeah. No, I know. And it's like so much easier to like, I'm not saying to ignore things, but like focus on yourself and what you can do. And it's like you raising your vibration and awareness definitely it does more than you think.
yeah, so true. Yeah.
So true. So, oh my gosh, where should we start? Should we just like roll into 2026 and or is there anything you want to talk about that happened in 2025 that you think was really significant or like the biggest thing? I don't know, maybe for you don't have to say like you personally, but like what, yeah, astrological shift you think was like the biggest?
Mm. Well, I think the biggest one was Pluto in Aquarius. And everyone's
Okay.
probably heard rumors of Please Aquarius. And you're like, what the hell does that mean? Pluto is the furthest planet from us, from the Earth, right? And we're always more interested in the further away planets and what they're doing rather than like the moon, the sun, because they're changing signs for us
So
every
quick.
day because they're
Yeah.
super close to us, right? So Pluto, I think, takes like 20 to 30 years to change sign, something like that. I think it's a bit all over the place. So it's taken 30 years and it's finally in Aquarius, this new sign. And that's a big revolution because Aquarius is the sign of like community and bringing it back to the people and actually people giving a shit about the world and not, it's not about like corporations making money and governments, you know, abusing us just to make money and get power. Like Aquarius is like, no, we need to kind of switch things up, which is
Hmm.
awesome. Like, the world needs that. But like, it's cool. I actually have a really strong personal example of this and it might make you think about where you've felt a bit of disruption in your own life because Pluto likes to disrupt. It's like
Hmm.
if you're feeling bored or stagnant or you're doing something that doesn't light you up, I'm gonna send you some signals to, tell you to stop. And if you don't listen, I will be the one to blow shit up for you. Okay, so just a warning. That's the Pluto. So Pluto was hitting my IC and my midheaven. So IC is like your family, your roots, your home, and your MC, your midheaven, is your career. So it
Mm-hmm.
was hitting my family home situation, and it was opposing my career, which is, if that's gibberish to you, basically the main themes it was bringing up for me was like, you're going to find a new home, like literally, and within yourself. So I lost my dog, which was like my soul pet during this time.
Oh my gosh.
Someone else who was also having it also lost their dog, and it was kind of like that first feeling of like childhood shattering for me, kind of like a having to grow up, and it made me start looking outside my comfort zone. And then career wise, just stuff wasn't working. I almost gave up on, being an astrologer so many times because I was like, why is stuff not working? And I actually had to have a reading with another astrologer to remind me, look at what Pluto is hitting in your chart. It's telling you that if you do things just because you think you should, or because it's a good idea or someone else is doing it, it's not going to work. So
Mm-hmm.
you could apply this to like relationships or health. If you keep ignoring those little signs that are coming through, or you're like stuck in something, or you're lying to yourself, or you're giving your power away, which a lot of us do with health, I feel like we don't take, responsibility, and we just outsource. We listen to people and take on someone's opinion, even if we feel in our soul like, I don't know if that's actually right for me. So Pluto will come in and be like, no, you need to listen to yourself. You need to take back your power. And in this sign of Aquarius, it's all about finding people who give you that feeling of belonging and community as
Mm.
well. And like, powers back to the people and do things differently. Like, don't think inside the box, think outside the box. Be a little bit of a black sheep, and you might be misunderstood, but if you follow that urge within you to do things differently and like be a bit of a rebel, it will always lead you back to your people and back to your
Mm-hmm.
power. So yeah, it was a
Yes. Yeah, like that Aquarian energy is just so like it's like that like if you lead with that energy, you're like 10 steps ahead of everyone else. But then like they will eventually get there.
yeah. I think a lot of Aquarians, people with a lot of Aquarius energy feel that way, like misunderstood, always on the outside. They're like, I have these ideas and I know I can see things differently, but no one gets me. So if you feel like that, just remember people will catch up and they'll be like, wow, we called you, a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but you're actually a
Yeah.
genius. Sorry about that.
You know what's weird? I have Saturn in Aquarius.
Mm,
I never really thought about that until we were talking about it. And I was like peering at my chart and I was like, I don't feel like I have a lot of Aquarius, but my Lilith and Saturn are.
yeah. What degree are they? Are they low?
Saturn is 12 and Lilith is 27.
Okay. Because Pluto is in like 2 degrees Aquarius right now. So those will be hitting, Pluto will hit them like in, say, 10, 15 years because it's towards,
Yeah. Oh.
what house is it?
Second and third.
Okay. So second is like stability, money, how you have foundations for yourself, like what you value. So all about like wealth, self-worth, values. And then third house is communication. So that will be like, where are you giving
My
your
favorite
power
house.
away with like how smart you think you are? Or are you feeling like you are like squashing your voice because you're afraid of being like the weird one or the outcast, or, giving your power away by staying quiet?
Ugh, me all the time.
Mhm.
Like, but yeah, like, seriously, you guys, you can look at, like, hear us talk about Aquarius stuff. Look at, like, what kind of planets, or maybe you don't have any planets in Aquarius in your chart. And I mean, that doesn't mean that it still could be affecting an area of your life for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Would you
yeah.
say that, okay, so with the Pluto transiting into Aquarius, does that, how do I want to ask this? Would that have any effect on like your natal Pluto placement unless it was like in an opposition or squaring it or blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean?
No, not necessarily. If it is hitting your Pluto in some way, then yeah, you'll feel it. But no, it kind of just means like if you have anything in Aquarius, any other planets in Aquarius, and even if you don't, you still have a house that's ruled by
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius. So
Yeah.
basically, look to that area of your life, and that will be the thing that's undergoing transformation. Because Pluto is about transformation. So like burning stuff down and building something new. So your natal Pluto isn't as important. It's more the Aquarius part of your chart right now.
That is very interesting. And that is kind of what makes me so interested in like the transit astrology.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's more interesting than reading like a natal chart? Like, or is it hard? Well, because I mean, like, it's kind of layered if you're looking at it all. I don't know. Just a
It's like
crazy
picking,
question.
yeah, it's like picking a favorite child. I don't know. I think I think birth chart, like just your natal chart, which never changes, it's like your
Hmm.
is I think a great place to start because transits can get really overwhelming. Like once you understand your chart, like this is who I am, this is the lessons I'll always be going through, then transit is like the next best step because it can show you this lesson is really lit up for you right now. Like you're going to be
Oh,
feeling this one particularly right now. Or like, you know, that thing you've always been working on because it's in your birth chart, like that is actually your focus of this year. So, because I think it kind of gives you something to focus on each year. Like you can't be working on all your lessons and
no.
soul assignments all the freaking time, otherwise you'll go mad. But your transit's kind of like, here's your focus for this year because this is what is most important, what's being lit up, or like your mission for this year. That's why I love transits as like a
Yes.
add-on.
That's a really good way to explain it. I love that. Do you have anything more to say about our friend Pluto? Or should we move on to 2026?
I think enough that name's already been said.
I know. It's like I felt like all people talked about at the beginning of last year was like Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. And
Yeah,
I know we will definitely see its effects over the next couple of decades for sure, in a good way. I think it'll be a good thing. I mean, things are going to crumble, but I think better things are going to come of it.
yeah, I agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So this year,
So now that Pluto's done his thing, the next kind of further out planets are Neptune, which
oh,
is
I love
just, I
Neptune.
think, yeah, me too.
I was
Neptune's,
like dreamy Neptune.
yeah. I think of Pluto as like Hades. Like I think of the planets as characters, right? Pluto is like Hades. He's like, I'm mean, but that's my job. Neptune is like Mr. Oogway from Kung Fu Panda. I don't know if you've seen it. The
No,
turtle.
but it makes me laugh.
If you've seen the movie, you'll get me. He's like the sensei who teaches him kung fu, right? And he's really off with the fairies. He's like, "Look, I'm wise, but I'm not gonna explain anything, in a way you can get. You're gonna have to figure it out." And that's what Neptune is to me. He's kind of like this teacher, and he wants you to, expand your mind and be a bit more spiritual, but you'll be confused about what messages he's going to send, basically. It's not going to be written down in a nice way.
I think that's perfect. Yep,
Yeah.
that tracks. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so I think Neptune moved into the sign of Aries last year, but it was kind of flitting back and forth because of retrograde. So I think in end of January, it will move into Aries properly. Like this will be the last time it's flitting back and forth.
I think you're right. Yeah. I wanted to Google that too. So we were like, which are the big things? But yeah, the end of January is when
Yeah,
Neptune enters Aries, and Aries is our
yeah.
uh,
Our warrior, get shit done. So yeah, Neptune will be in Aries, I think, until like 2039. which how many years is that? Like 15? So it's a long time. So like we need to settle in.
It's such a different energy than Pisces,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, Neptune and Pisces, how astrologers explain the last 15 years is like Pisces is the sign of escaping reality. And you can know,
Hmm.
like, everyone just is on their phones, just wants to escape, doesn't want to be here. Everyone's like obsessed with reality TV, like, no one wants to be present. That the like escapism was really big the last 15 years, like when phones became attached to us.
That makes so much
It
sense.
does. And it's scary to look back on it and be like, yeah, shit. Whoops.
I know,
So now,
right?
yeah, now that it's in Aries, Aries is like the sign of the warrior. It's about the body and about movement and about rage. So some astrologers are like, because Neptune kind of represents culture, like how our music will change, how our art and fashion will change. And some astrologers are like, oh my God, we're going to see the rise of like heavy metal and punk, which personally I can't wait for. But because it's
You're
like
like, bring it on.
yeah, because Aries is like rage and it's like rage music. And so you can read heaps of predictions about what might or might happen. But again, I think it's more important to look at where is Aries in your chart because that's what Neptune is going to be hitting. And Neptune kind of
Mm,
asks us to like trust the process and daydream a bit more because our little human minds are like, I've got a plan. This is how I'm going to make money. This is the kind of person I'm going to meet. This is how it's going to go from A to B to C. And Neptune's like, I have got so many more potential ways that your life could unfold that you can't even see. So Neptune kind of
yes.
helps us get outside that linear thinking. And we'll probably feel confused. We'll probably feel scared because we get attached to that path, you know. But Neptune's like, I want you to daydream a bit, like be a bit unrealistic, a bit delusional for a bit, and open your mind and see what else is possible. So depending on where Aries is in your chart, it might be your career, it might be, for me, it's my health. So
Oh,
I'm gonna have to be really careful that I don't get too delusional about my health and just like want to escape because that's what Neptune does. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. Aries is like you have to be grounded and think about your body, take responsibility back for your body and the choices that you're making about your body and kind of like yeah, like focus on following your instincts. That's a big thing about Aries.
mm,
Is not outsourcing your power because Neptune and Aries might make us a little bit delusional and
yeah.
you know listening to other people's opinions about what I should do, who I should be. Aries is like trust your instincts, take a risk, and like don't be afraid to go first because you might inspire someone else. Aries is that like warrior energy. So if Aries is hitting your money, for example, like where are you just following other people's money advice? You're being a bit delusional. Maybe you should actually be a bit more assertive. Like that's just a little example. So it really depends on what area of your chart Aries is in.
Yeah, and those are like it's like another long transit. So like another like lesson you're really going to hit on in the next few years. Well, more than a few years.
Yeah, yeah. And Neptune is like, Neptune can make us really confused. And the cool thing that's happening is Saturn has also moved into Aries. So I think
Oh,
it,
Saturn.
I don't know. So, okay, so if Neptune is Uguay, the
Oh
little
yeah. I love
turtle,
your analogy on Saturn.
Saturn is Mr. Miyagi, Karate Kid. He's like, wax off, wax on, and you're like, why am I still doing this? And he's like, wax on, wax off. Just keep doing it. Trust me, you will see the purpose of this. So Saturn is like that kind of taskmaster. I'm going to force you to do the same lesson over and over again until you get it.
Yeah. And I think everyone can feel that. I know you can think of something in your life that it's like, oh my gosh, like I did that same thing in that relationship or in that job or with health and wellness, and like never got I got the same results because I was just like doing the same thing and not even thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of cool they've both moved into Aries at the same time and they're like traveling together because Neptune's like, "Meh," and Saturn's like, no, focus. So you might feel like a bit of push-pull between them. Like sometimes you're really creative or off with the fairies, and then other times you're like,
Yeah.
why am I so pathetic? I need to be better at this. So I actually think they're kind of gonna balance each other out, and Saturn grounds, whereas Neptune uplifts kind of and makes you a bit more open and dreamy. So I think it's pretty cool that they'll be traveling together
I
through
know,
Aries.
right? I never really thought about that, but like Saturn will go through quicker
Yeah,
since it's closer to us.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So he's just kind of like, peace out, Neptune, and just like,
Good luck now.
good luck. See you later. We
Yeah,
left Pluto in the dust.
yeah. Pluto's just slowly moving on. Takes 20 years.
I know, right? I think also, I don't know if we touched on this the last time we talked at all. Maybe we probably did a little bit, like, but like Saturn gets the bad rap because, like, I feel like everyone, maybe it's because the generation behind us is like reaching their Saturn return. And so, like, it's like being a thing now.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
how to survive your Saturn return. I see that like everywhere now. And I was like, I am so glad I am done with that shit.
Mine's next year.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you're younger than me.
I'm young.
Sometimes I just like assume everyone I talk to is the same age as me, and like it's not true at all. Like I have a really good friend. She just turned 40, and I'm like, I'm way off of you. But I was like, like you feel like you're the same
Yeah.
age. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you don't start your Saturn return till next year?
Yeah. Well, my Saturn's in Aries, so I am kind of feeling it now that Saturn's moved into my Saturn return sign, but it will be strongest next year. So I'm really sitting down with these lessons of Aries, and I'm like, Georgia, you got to pay attention, otherwise you're gonna have. But like, you can never avoid Saturn. Like everyone says, your Saturn return is there's a lot going on, but you come out way more like aware of what you actually want to do and you stop listening
Oh my
to all
gosh,
the
yes.
noise.
Yeah. I had my first child. No, it was right after I had my first child is when like Saturn was back in Aquarius where it is in my chart. And yeah, that's kind of like when I had my spiritual awakening and all that fun stuff too. Like I started reading more, and it wasn't like I don't think it was too traumatic for me in a sense, but I feel like it was just like I don't even know who that person is anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's how much it like shakes things up
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
That
like,
way.
maybe. But okay, Saturn, Neptune, who are we missing? Uranus.
Yeah, and what's Uranus doing? Oh, Uranus just moved into Gemini. I think it was last year. So
Mm-hmm.
Uranus was in Taurus for I think 7 years. Um, and we can think of things like cryptocurrency because Uranus innovates and does things differently and kind of like shakes up the status quo. And Taurus is the sign of money, stability, home, everything that's like foundational and like our currency system. So you put the two together, doing things differently and money, and you get crypto, which is pretty cool. But like it affects us all differently. Again, like that stuff is interesting, but I think it's more important to look at personally in your chart. Where was Uranus traveling in your Taurus house, or if you have any planets in Taurus? And then it's moving into Gemini, which is all about the mind.
I know,
And
I'm like making a face because it's in my seventh house.
oh, mine's in my eighth. Yeah,
Close.
yeah. Um, yeah, I know. So you look at like Gemini as being, it's kind of going to be a mental revolution. And we're all going to start to think. Because I think the world has gotten to a place where we're not very good at allowing difference of opinion. Like everyone is so divided, and if someone has a different opinion to you, they're automatically wrong or a bad person. Like people have been talking about this for a while, but now Uranus and Gemini, Gemini is the most curious sign that there is. Like very open-minded, doesn't see black and white. That's why Geminis are called like two-faced. Because they can see both sides of every story. Like they're going to agree with both people. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually a thing I think our society needs to get better at in the next 7 years as Uranus is in
Gosh.
Gemini. So
Yeah.
it'll be kind of a challenge to some people will rise to the challenge and be like, actually, I need to start thinking more open-minded about things and start to be a bit more like skeptical, not so believing of everything we see on the news or, Sally told me this, so that's the truth. And
Yeah,
some
like
people,
what is your truth?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
So,
I love
yeah,
that you bring that up because I think that I mean, I don't want to go on this tangent, but like when you say that, like I think of religion and how
yeah,
like sometimes people are so quick to be like, "Oh, well you don't believe in XYZ, then you're a bad person."
yeah,
Or you do this, you're a bad person. And it's
exactly.
like, no. I know genuinely good people who believe a lot of different things when it comes to religion. And
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah,
Like at the end of the
exactly.
day, like what resonates with you and what is your truth. And yeah, I think more people will get that way with this transit,
Yeah,
hopefully.
hopefully. So
Or
yeah, I
like
think
knock on wood.
the world just needs to be like more curious and more accepting of difference, which Gemini is genuinely so good at. And like Uranus asks us to do things outside the box, like do things differently the way we've always done it. And so Gemini being the mental planet, we need to start thinking outside the box and being a bit more just aware of like where are we getting information from? Are we believing it straight away? Are we believing gossip? We hear about someone and we instantly like take it as truth. Actually start to question how your mind is taking in information and like whose ideas are these? If someone has a different opinion, how do I, do I just instantly reject it or do I be curious and open-minded about it? So it'll be a big challenge. And I think if you have strong Aquarius placements, you'll already be so good at this because Aquarius are good at
Yeah.
thinking in the box. Or if you have a lot of Gemini placements, because Uranus will be hitting those Gemini planets for you, you'll probably
Mm-hmm.
a lot and you'll feel like you might say something and people don't get it. And you're like, oh, I should have just stayed quiet and, not said anything. But actually, that lesson is there to teach you how to own your truth and not let other people's reactions or, their own triggers stop you from speaking. So we think of those experiences as like, I should have just shut up. But actually, they're teaching you how to hold yourself because not everyone's going to get you all the time. People are going to misunderstand or have their
Mm-hmm.
own, internal stuff going on. So we take those experiences as like bad, but they're just teaching moments to teach you how to hold yourself. And I think we'll all have to practice sharing our voice more and also being more open to different voices. Like that's definitely what we need as a planet.
Yeah, no, that's very beautifully said. It just made me think of I'm reading Throne of Glass right now, like the whole series.
Wow.
I know I'm like at the end almost. I'm almost on the last book. I It's so good, but there's a part in there where a character like he was telling one of the other characters about her and just saying like all these terrible things and blah blah blah. And this character was like, you may think that, but I'm gonna have my own opinion when I meet her. And I was like, but seriously, like we need more of that too. Because people are so, I don't know about where you like live and if it's like kind of, well, like where I am, it's like kind of small towny and not super, yeah, like I'm like me. But it's like everyone has to say something. And it's almost like the older generations are the worst about it.
Yeah.
And that's probably just like how they grew up and everything. And it's like I've gotten to the point where it's like I don't really give a shit what anyone else is doing. Unless it's like my close people, you know what I mean? And it's like you can think whatever you want about what I'm doing, but like I'm happy. So
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah, that's the lesson of your Saturn in Aquarius is like you just have to stop trying to fit in and like mold yourself to fit in and instead just be you, do you, and you'll find your people. Like
Yeah.
Aquarius
I
is this
yeah.
lesson of like, I don't feel like I fit in, so what am I going to do about that? Am I going to squash myself or am I just going to find new people?
Oh my gosh, that is the story of my life.
Yeah.
I love astrology. I'm just like, sometimes it just really it's validating.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
especially, yeah, when you learn about these transits and when you have a reading with Georgia, she will tell you everything that's coming up the next year. And it almost is, it kind of is overwhelming, especially if you're a newbie.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, I feel like you're focusing on the outer planets. What about Jupiter? What's he doing?
He,
I was like, I don't remember. I feel like he moved last year.
yeah, so he moves every year, every 12 months. So he's a
Oh,
bit,
he's close.
yeah. So he will move, I think, into Leo in June. So right now he's in Cancer. So the
Hmm.
Cancer part of your chart is kind of lit up with Jupiter's like opportunities and expansion. And being in the sign of Cancer, it's all about like emotional healing, maybe like healing trauma or family stuff that's sitting under the surface. So basically, if you focus on that and focus on self-care and, being more emotionally open with yourself and with other people and giving yourself like solid foundations, like a safety net to do that, basically Jupiter will reward you. That's what he does. Like whatever sign he is in, he wants you to focus on and the more you do it and the more you focus on those things, he'll be like, "Yep, gold star. Here's a little bonus
Okay,
for
so I love that. I do love Jupiter vibes. I'm also a rising Sagittarius, so it makes sense. So somebody could basically they could look up their chart if they know or have it up, and like whatever house is hitting their Cancer is kind of those are the themes that they should focus on, like improving, or if there's like conflict there now.
Yeah. So Jupiter pretty much expands whatever it touches. So say
Um,
you have like a Cancer in your sixth house, which is the house of health. It
mhm.
will, if you are really good at looking after your health, you have good routines, good rituals, it will kind of like you might feel this urge to keep them going, or you might find that like you overdo it because it's expanding and then you injure yourself, for example. Or if you have like no, if you find that you struggle to have good routines with health, Jupiter will increase that feeling of like laziness or stagnancy. So basically, it will just highlight to you where you need to improve in that area of your life by either you overdoing it in either direction because it just expands whatever is already there. So it might expand good or it might expand more of the negative as well. So it's good to just like have a little harsh reality check with yourself and be like, this could be better by, me focusing on these things.
Oh, it's kind of a nice thing just to be aware of and kind of keep track of every year.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. Might have to take some notes and listen to this when I'm done. Oh my gosh, I'm like, this is juicy information. I don't know. Okay, those were basically because we touched on like all the like outer planets.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is there who am I? I'm like, who am I missing? Because the other ones would be Mercury, Venus, Mars. Those are like whoosh, whoosh,
yeah. They all move
quick
quick.
ones.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got the
And that
energy
is,
of like
yeah.
Aquarius, Aries, Gemini. Those are like the three big energies that are happening this year.
And Gemini, is Gemini air?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm just trying to think about the elements too of the
Mm.
signs.
yeah. So
Because,
Aquarius, air, Gemini, air, Aries, fire.
yeah, because I'm like, okay, we've got a couple air signs and fire. Air, air signs just make me think of like being a little aloof sometimes, just because I am a Libra sun and moon, so I'm just like, what do I
Yeah,
do with my life? Sometimes I'm the most indecisive person.
that checks out.
Like, oh, weird. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Um, I
And
wanted to. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say in Chinese astrology, it's the year of the fire horse. I think it's cool that Neptune and Saturn are in Aries, with the fire sign as well.
Okay, what makes the horse fiery?
I
Oh,
don't
because it
know.
was like a wood snake, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to do with their like the elements.
yeah.
I think
I'm not
it's
really involved. I just think it's interesting. It's a cool little parallel.
well, because the horse energy is supposed to be really like powerful and but that
Yeah,
doesn't happen till like February, guys. I've
true.
seen so many posts that are like, year of the snake is over, or like, like it's the year of the horse. And I was like, no, that's the wrong calendar, girlies. I was like, we're still sleeping. We're trying to
Exactly.
get that snake energy out of here very nicely. Um, well, because like numerologically, that's a big word. We went from like a year 9 in 2025 to year 1. And then, yeah, you get like that Aries energy, and that's like a cardinal sign. So it's very like, just, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. And it's the first sign of the zodiac. So
Yes.
one with numerology and one with Aries, like a lot of kind of like starting again energy. And Gemini is also quite youthful and like kind of sees the world through fresh eyes. And then Aquarius is also like, how can we do things differently? So this year just feels like a lot of change, a lot of newness. And like my word for 2026 is open because
Mhm.
I'm also going through a personal year one. So we're all going through a year one, but
Eek.
cool. So like there's literally no point planning if you're going through a year one because you have
Oh,
no freaking clue about what could unfold. And that's also exciting. Like you can take that as scary, or you can take that as like, this could be even, I keep saying to myself, show me how good it gets. Like I just want the universe to show me that their plan is way better than the plan I could ever have for myself because I've
oh
got
my
little
God.
blinkers on.
Well,
Their
yeah,
plan's way better.
especially after last year. It's like,
Yeah.
like all the, oh my gosh, all the, I feel like those, I mean, if you do have a year 1 this year too, like personally, it's almost like we were selected luckily, like we got the lucky stick and we get that energy like amplified because it's the collective
Yeah.
one as well. And I was thinking it's like a very like individual, like kind of like focusing, like I'm thinking of it too as like focusing on myself and what are things I can do to like better myself, and always the better self-talk, and just going back to the basics with that too. I love your take on like just being open,
Yeah. It's
because
hard.
anything, it's gonna be really good. We're putting it out there right now. It's January. You guys talk to us next year, you won't even recognize us.
I could be living, different country. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, tell us a little bit about your travel escapade last year.
Yeah, so I went to Mexico for 3 months with my partner. We'd been planning this for years and it just never was the right time. And I always just had this urge to go. Everyone was like, why Mexico? And I was like, I can't tell you why, I just have to go. And it was better than I ever could have expected. I just kind of felt like it felt like home. Like I was really
Huh.
emotional learning about all the history of Mexico. Like for some reason, I just had this personal, like I was feeling emotional learning about it. I don't know if there's some kind of like past life soul tie,
Oh,
who
there's
knows?
gotta be.
Always.
Yeah.
But I really like it was just a beautiful break, and also I learnt so much from their culture. Like to them, it's normal to be spiritual. Like they sell altar items at every store. People are like smoking and saging their coffee shops and their restaurants, and that's just part of their culture. Whereas here, if you did that, people would be like, okay, that's a bit weird. And they're just so much more. I come from like Eastern European background, and it's very like, be a good girl, do the right thing by your family, don't talk about sex, don't talk about death, don't talk about anything. It's very like rigid. Whereas
Yeah.
Mexico, like all these statues and things in the museums that I was seeing were like of these demons and like women giving birth with their breasts out, and it was just like free and wild and primal. And it really opened me up to how stiff I am at home and how like closed off and disconnected from nature. And every time I do a ceremony, like a cacao ceremony at home now, I feel like a lot of grief. Like I really, really miss Mexico, and not just like the travel of it, but like how I felt there. So it's really inspired me to just be a bit more wild and like
Oh,
connect
oh.
to that like raw primalness that I felt there. So yeah, it was perfect timing because it was a year 9, and for me, and I felt like I just shed a lot of stuff that I was carrying around, like old tradition. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's beautiful. I love Mexican culture, honestly. We have I feel like our community, it seems random, like Iowa, because we're just like in the middle of nowhere, but we do have like um a growing Mexican American population, and or it has been for a while. Like we have such good restaurants, and I don't know. I've always liked the music and the culture, and I just think it's yeah, like I love it. I love it so much. So that's so cool that you had the opportunity to do that.
yeah, I know. And it was so funny. Like I'm having this like spiritual experience, and my boyfriend's just there, like having a good time. It's different.
He's
And like,
like, party.
yeah, he's my rock. He's not spiritual at all, but he just reminds me, like, George is just not everything's always that deep, you know?
I know. That reminds me of the whatever that reel everyone was doing. It was like, why does the wind or whatever, like, or whatever it says. Yeah, it was something like, what do you think the wind's trying to tell us? And he's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I feel that in my own life sometimes. I'm just like, you need the people that are more grounded, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Take us back down. Like, okay, yes, we're still hanging out in Earth and we're gonna enjoy the things here.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So this is kind of a good segue to like, okay, because like last year you were like year 9 and you're transforming and like how did that shape your readings throughout the year?
Well, I remember a few years ago, I was like, my dream job is to be a sex therapist, right? And an astrologer. So I finally came out of the closet as an astrologer and like owned that. That took a lot of a lot of like self-talking. And then I've always just been curious about sex and like how it affects our relationships, how our relationships affect it. And it's just like so interesting to me. And I was like, maybe I could do sex readings as an astrologer. And it's kind of been on the back burner for a long time. And I was like, what's this person going to think? What's this person going to think? And I was like, you know what? Who doesn't want this? Who doesn't want to know what person,
Everyone wants to know.
I know, like people might not admit it, but they want to know.
They want to
They want
know.
to know. Like what turns you on, like because I think my favorite thing about astrology is it just helps you drop the conditioning and be like, this is how I'm designed, this is how I'm meant to do it. I can stay in my lane and stop comparing myself. And I think
Hmm.
sex is something we all need that because we're always comparing ourselves to other people. She has sex 4 times a week. They do this, whatever. I'm too vanilla or I'm too out there. And it just helps you stay in your lane and drop all the conditioning and be like, I know what turns me on. I know what I like. I know how much I need, what kind I need, what gets in the way. Am I an overthinker? Pointing at myself. And it's my chart has really helped me like stop beating myself up for the way I operate sexually or like how much I want it or, the things that I kind of need in my relationship and my life to be interested in sex because that's something that women we just don't think about. Like we just get into bed and are like, why is it not working? So
And
it
nobody
helps.
talks about that either.
It
And I'm
really,
sure, yeah, everyone listening is like, how the hell do you tell that from my chart?
I know. Well, like read my chart, and I'm like, are you sure? Because I'll know everything. Like I'll know what kind of sex what you need. Are you sure you want me to know that?
Yeah, people don't realize how actually, because like how detailed and specific and just like if you look at someone's Chiron, like you know their biggest wound and like the shit that really gets them. And I almost feel kind of like when I pulled so many of like my friends and family's charts and then I'm like, oh, I feel like I know them on like this weird level that I shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh. But seriously, like what specific planets are you looking at for the
Uh,
sex readings?
we look mostly at Venus and Mars because
Venus.
Venus is like our pleasure language, romance language, kind of like there's this term preheat the oven. Like, as women, we can't just, this is for most of us, we can't just hop into bed and expect us to be turned on in 5 minutes. We kind of need to create things in our life that get us interested in the idea of sex. Like, yeah, I could go later on, like we need to warm ourselves up. So Venus kind of teaches us what we need to do by ourselves as like solo dates and also what we need to do with our partner if we're in a relationship to preheat the oven for ourselves so that later on when sex comes and it's on the table we're like, yes, I feel open. This idea intrigues me. So it depends what planets, what signs you have Venus in, and then Mars is like what desires do you have? What makes you hungry? What's your like libido like? Do you want sex to feel safe and soft and like this spiritual experience? Or do you want it to feel hard and fast and like fun and energetic? So if you look at the elements that you have Mars and Venus in, it will give you a little flavor of like, yeah, I have a lot of fire. Like, I'm not going to do well with routine and slow and soft and sweet words. That's just not what fire is about.
That was the most eye-opening part for me was the element part of it because my Venus and Mars are water.
Yeah.
So I'm an emotional girly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so cool though, because like the reason I love doing sex astrology readings now is because how we do one thing is how we do everything. And you'll start to notice like how I am in the bedroom, like the things that I struggle with in the bedroom, that's also happening in my life. Like for me, I was an overthinker. I was always stuck in my head, and that's true in life as well. So like it's so
Hmm.
cool that we can use the chart to see like sex astrology isn't a huge thing. Like it's kind of pretty new because no one talks about it. But I just think it's so cool that our chart can teach us so much about ourselves and also about our sex lives and how we want to experience pleasure in this life. Like that is so cool.
It really is. No, I can vouch for it. It is like, and we talked for over an hour because there's just so much. You would think, oh yeah, I have a couple signs in these houses and whatever, but it's like, no, you like get into the layers, and it's just a good way to understand and validate yourself again.
Yeah, yeah. This could be a
Like,
whole other podcast episode.
oh my gosh, yeah, I could. But we're almost done with this one, so we can't go on that tangent. But no, I highly, highly recommend one, like a reading.
They're fun.
And yeah. Just like the transit, the sex reading, the like it's all whatever you pick, whatever you choose with Georgia, it'll be fun. Trust
Yeah,
me. You're like, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
fun.
I know, right? That's the fun part. I love, love, love talking astrology, and I love all of this. But we should probably wrap up our conversation. I'm like, is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to share today?
Hmm. I would just say start simple. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed by everything we've talked about, or you're like, I need to stay on top of these transits that are happening, or a lot of people get caught up in this like prediction, like what's going to happen, how's the
Mm,
world going to change. Just zero in and focus on the house and the area of your life this is going to be happening. So it's pretty easy to look up your chart and see
hmm
which house is Cancer in. So the three signs will be Aquarius, Pluto,
hmm
Gemini for Uranus, and then Aries. So find those three houses. And even if you do nothing else but just write them down, like family, relationships, career, for example, and just stay open to seeing how these three areas of your life might change. Like, you don't have to do any planning or do anything differently. Just steal my word for 2026 and just stay open to stuff shifting. And the more open you are to it, the easier it will be. Because when we resist, that's when we
mm.
suffer.
Yes, that's a really good, that's just a really good place to start. I think I might actually do that too. Because yeah, it can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Like it's here to help us.
Yeah.
And I think people when they do get down the rabbit hole of like, well, this means that this will happen or blah blah blah. I think it brings out a little more fear and paranoia than it needs to be because you never know exactly how something's going to shake out.
Yeah. As I
So,
said, like, the universe knows way more than we do. Like, we cannot plan things with our little human minds.
no. And it's going to be better than what you thought of anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's what we're putting well, that's what we're putting out there in the universe. So, yay. I am going to link all of your stuff because like yeah, how I guess okay, before we really really go, um your current offerings that I'm going to link, maybe just touch on those super fast and then like how people can find you. And I'm going to link all this stuff in the show notes. So,
Yeah. I have my 2026 year ahead reading. So it takes your transits for 2026, how you're personally going to experience all this stuff we talked about. So it doesn't matter if you do it in January or not. You can even do it on your birthday because some people prefer to look at 12 months from their birthday. So you can do it anytime. Like, it doesn't have to be the start of the year, you know?
that's a good idea.
Yeah, a fun little gift to yourself. Or
Yeah.
even the start of Aries season, which is the start of the astrological new year as well. Because
When we'll
January,
wake up, when the witches wake up.
exactly, January's fake anyway. No one cares. And then I also have sex astrology readings. So if you're like secretly curious about that, that's also, you don't have to know anything about your chart. If you just want to go straight to that, that's also fine. Like, I can explain it in a way that's suitable
It's
for beginners
fun.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. And
And
I
she's in
give you like,
Australia and she won't know you. So if you know
true.
me and you book a reading with her, she's not going to know who the hell you are or who your family and friends are. So
I'll never run into you ever at the shops and be like, I know what
Exactly.
she likes.
So there's another reason to just do it.
Yeah. And you can find me on Instagram. So if you've got any questions or you're like, how do I look up my chart? Feel free to DM me and I'll walk you through how to like figure out what areas of your chart are big this year.
Oh, yes. Yay. Well, thank you so much. This was so fun. I love chatting about this. 2026 is going to be, we're going to be open.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me for
Of
round two.
course. For round two.
So,
I know. We'll have to, this time next year.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See
Okay.
you then.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And thank everyone for listening. We'll see you soon.